Hi, I'm Micaiah with Txtx, and one of our goals at Txtx is to bring the security, the reproducibility, and the confidence of deployments in Web 2 to the Web 3 space. And one of the ways we're doing that is through smart contract runbooks. These runbooks are going to allow you to deploy and operate your contracts much more easily, and today we're going to demo that with some Clarity contracts on the Txtx blockchain. So here I have a runbook, and it's going to deploy two different contracts. So I have a counter contract that just can increment and decrement a number. And then I have another contract that is a wrapper around that lets us increment by larger numbers instead of just by one. And so we have this set of dependencies in our contract. We have the counter, and the counter wrapper is going to call the counter contract. And so we are going to use Txtx to deploy these and then also to manage upgrades of this contract. So first, to deploy, I can do Txtx run. The name of this runbook is deploy -u. So this will be the unsupervised mode. So it's just going to execute this. And while those transactions are being mined, we can take a look. We're using the Txtx add-on, and we're setting some network configurations. We're declaring a signer here called deployer, and it's a secret key signer. So we're just putting in a mnemonic. We are using this get contract from clarinet project function. So this is getting our counter contract and deploying it with this signer, and we're setting it the instance name to counter v1. And then we're doing the same thing with our wrapper contract, setting it to counter wrapper v1, and then we're outputting some data here. So we can see the contract ID of our two contracts. Now, Txtx is going to manage the state of these deployments for us. So if I run that again, I'm going to see latest snapshot in sync with latest runbook updates. There's no changes to our runbook, no changes to our contracts, so there's no updates that need to be made. However, if I was to go in and change our contract, for example, let's go to the counter and I don't know, decrement one. We'll rename this. So we've got an update to our counter contract. So we can say counter v2, and we want to automatically. So what Txtx will do is, if we have a dependency here where the wrapper depends on this contract, when this one is upgraded, we can also version this one. And Txtx will automatically manage those dependencies and remap this v2 contract to automatically point to this new v2 here. So now I can do Txtx run deploy -u, again unsupervised, and we will see the diff. So we'll see our versions changed. We'll see the name of our function changed in one of our Clarity contracts. So we can see all of the changes that are going to cause this set of actions to be redeployed. And so only the actions that are impacted by the changes will be re-executed. So here I can say, do you want to continue? Yes. And those are being redeployed. While that's going, we can take a look at another runbook here. For this one, we're going to actually call these contracts. So I am setting up a signer, this time called caller, and we're going to use a web wallet this time. So we can go through the supervised execution where we can sign things in the browser. So we can say an expected address that we want to connect here. We can set up some variables. These are our contract IDs, and we want to call the v2 contract here. And we can set a variable that we want to be editable in the supervisor UI. This will be the number we're going to increment by. And here we're doing a read-only function call to get the counter before, and we'll also get the counter after. And we're going to call the contract. We're going to call that wrapper contract increment by our number that we set up. So looks like our contracts are redeployed. So now this time I can do Txtx run call. We're going to do the call runbook. And so now we've got this hosted locally. So here's our runbook. We can connect our wallet. While it's connected, we can sign a message to provide our public key. We can see the balance of our signer. We can start the runbook. And so here we can verify the contract IDs that we're calling. We can set the number that we're going to increment by. Let's change this to 100. Verify that, validate, and so now we can see the transaction, the nonce, the fee, and the contract call we're making, increment n with the function arguments that we set earlier. We can sign the transaction. Here we can wait for that to be mined. Here we have a link. We can see this in the Explorer. And so now we'll see the count before was 0 and the count after was 100. So we have, in the browser, signed this contract call. So that's how you can deploy smart contracts Clarity smart contracts using Txtx and how you can operate on them afterwards using an in-browser signer.